This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Didn't have a great weekend, Rick.
Oh, man, what happened?
Well, you were part of it, to be honest with you. You kind of ruined my weekend and perhaps 62 more weekends.
Really?
Yeah. Remember when we were at that bar? Oh, you know exactly. I see your little grin here, so you know exactly what happened. So we were out, me and you.
Please tell. Please.
So we had a book signing.
Yeah.
Dan McNeil's book. Great book signing at AU Sports on Dempster.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It was.
Right? So then we're driving home, and then you call me and you go, hey, let's stop for a beer.
Yep.
I'm like, sure, why not?
First beer I ever had.
Yeah, so we stopped at a beer for a beer. And we're sitting there. I don't remember the name of the bar. I'm not going to mention that. Actually, I do know exactly the name of the bar. But we're sitting there at the bar, and there's the bartender, and we're talking, you know. And the conversation comes. We were like the only people in the bar, you know.
Right, because it was like 3 p.m.
And you're affable.
I am.
We're you know, have a beer in us, so we start talking, and the guy found out that you were in radio.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, and you know, I'm not going to tell this story.
Yeah, come on. This is the best part. You got to tell the story.
So he's like, oh my God, you know, I am reading this great book right now about the Loop radio station by Rick. Now, luckily, he said your name wrong.
Okay, that's a small matter, but I mean, come on.
So we're just sitting by happenstance, and then he goes, well, I am Rick Kempfer.
Yes.
And you were very nice in the way that you corrected him, and his eyes just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, it was the best.
Right.
It was the best. Oh, and it wouldn't have meant that much to me at all.
Oh, first of all,
if you weren't there. Having you there is what made that a great moment for me.
But now, as I'm going through my head, it's like, you called me to meet at this bar.
This was not a setup.
And how do I know this was not a setup?
It was not a setup. It is time. It is time
for me to put a knitting needle in my eye.
It's time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
As soon as he said it, you shot me this look. Like, it
was awesome. I actually thought that it was the other way around, that you had done the setup, hoping that I would get so excited and tell somebody else the story, and then you could say, well, I went there an hour beforehand.
His name is Bill Johnson, $20.
He's on line 1 right now.
No, this was purely...
Okay. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. Yeah. What can I say?
The only time it's ever happened to me, well, actually, it's happened to me twice.
Okay.
Once at the Roger Daltrey in Ravinia, like 8 years ago.
Okay.
Somebody came up, or not 8 years, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody came up to me and was a listener to the podcast.
Okay.
And recognized my face. We must have a picture.
Yeah, we do.
Right. So he's like that. And then, remember when we did the videos for Arlington Park?
Oh, yeah.
When I was Quinella?
Yeah.
Once I was at Arlington Park and somebody goes, Quinella!
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's, yeah. It's not.
No,
this one was purely. I got to get
this. Like, I'm reading a book by a guy.
Right.
Oh, and I'm that guy.
Like, how often does that even happen to Stephen King? Probably.
Probably not very often.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you
on having this now over. Hey, let's talk about the Pope. You're a big Pope guy, right?
I'm a Catholic.
Didn't you guys...
He's infallible.
Didn't you guys... I don't know if it was you and Bridget. You were on a plane, or you were at the airport.
Yes.
And was it the Chicago...
It was Cardinal Bernardine.
Okay, and
we were at the airport, and I saw Cardinal Bernardine.
Was he wearing the whole thing?
He was wearing the red beanie.
Okay.
But a whole black outfit with the red beanie. And so it kind of stuck out.
No, it was he was wearing a White Sox jacket with the red.
He was not. But I pointed him out to Bridget, who is a little more Catholic than me. And she went right up to him. Oh, my God, I'm such a fan. And he looked at her like, okay, is that how,
right. We're Catholic too. Jesus, we love
we
Jesus.
We have a lot in common. You're a Catholic. Right. We're Catholics.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Pope Francis.
Yep. My favorite Pope.
I was going to say, he's probably from other than, well,
J. Paul II.
Is that what?
He was pretty good. John Paul II was also pretty good.
He was a Polish dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pope Francis has criticized. This comes from the Latin Times, so it's got to be true.
Sure.
Pope Francis criticizes unfriendly nuns with nasty vinegar faces and tells them to stop speaking with the devil. Pope Francis seemingly put his own spin on telling women to smile more. It's clear that he's never dated.
No. No.
It's clear that he's never had to butter up a woman.
Yeah.
So he's putting his own spin on telling women to smile more, urging nuns to abandon vinegar faces and stop speaking with the devil. The Pope, 88. You know what? Even the Pope at age 88 is like, fuck it, I can say anything.
Yeah.
I'm 88.
Yeah,
what are they going to do?
I'm infallible.
And he emphasized the importance of friendliness and love in embodying the virtues of the Catholic Church as he spoke to a group of Dominican sisters visiting the Vatican this past Sunday. Sometimes in my life, I have met nuns with a vinegar face, and that's not friendly, the Pope remarked.
He's not wrong.
That's not something that helps to attract people. You know, religion. Yeah. It's a
sales game.
It's a product, right?
It's a sales game.
Vinegar is nasty, and nuns with a vinegar face. Let's not even talk about it. Can you do an Argentinian accent?
I cannot.
The Pope also urged the nuns to follow Jesus' example of speaking to everyone, except for a bartender that has written Rick's book, except for the devil. No dialogue with the devil. Understood? He stressed, warning against allowing jealousy and other human frailties to provide entry points for evil.
See, I'm with him on the vinegar face, but is it really hanging out with the devil? I mean,
to gossip?
Might have a bit of a stretch there, but
so
all right.
You went to catechism. You never went to a Catholic school for school?
I just had CCD.
Okay. Did you have vinegar face nuns?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you name the most vinegary nun?
Well, it's kind of unfair because I also lived in Germany.
Oh, my God.
And so they were all vinegary.
Even the friendly ones had vinegar face, right?
There were no friendly ones. So, no, I can't remember any of their names, to be totally honest with you. But there were plenty of them.
Vinegar faces. Were you ever whacked? Were they still able to hit you back then?
No.
Oh,
no, we were the public school kids.
Okay, right.
The Catholic school kids.
We're just getting
fair game. Fair game.
Well, now, of course, this reminds me of the classic Cheech and Chong bit, right? Sister Mary Elephant. Can we play the little bit?
I'll play just a little bit of it.
Right, so we don't get sued.
Right, here we go.
Good morning, class. Good morning, class. Class. Thank you.
That is Sister Mary Elephant.
And of course, that's from classic Cheech and Chong.
Yes.
Right? And we had Tommy Chong on a couple of years ago. I don't know.
Yeah. Years ago. 5 years ago.
And he talked about the bit. So why don't we? This is like a celebrity, or no, this is a Studio Walls bonus track.
Okay. All right. Here, just a little bit of that one.
Yeah, sure.
So, when we were in like middle school, let's say, Sister Mary Elephant came out. And
wasn't that the?
Oh my God,
just unbelievable!
And I maintain that record inspired class clowns for an entire generation. You can't.
Oh, you know it did.
Don't you think that's true? Now, did you?
You know the biggest compliment you got with Sister Mary Elephant?
What's that?
Was when Carol Burnett stole the bit and did it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She did that. She did that bit. They had to pay homage to class. That was Cheech, man. Cheech grew up Catholic.
Yeah, right.
And Sister Mary Elephant was this substitute teacher that her name wasn't Sister Mary Elephant, but that's
based on somebody. Yes.
That's what all the kids would call her.
Oh, for real?
And that's how she treated. That's how she treated everybody. Because you had rowdy kids, man.
Sure.
When I was going to school, if we got a substitute teacher and she wasn't strict, we'd eat her alive.
Yeah. There he is. So based on a real nun.
Yeah, right.
I thought.
I wonder if she was a big boned nun. I don't know why.
Because of the elephant.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think elephant was just one of those all-encompassing insults back in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't that creative back then,
or mean-spirited back then.
Yeah, it was just really more about love, if I remember right. That's,
no vinegar faces back
right.
when
That's
we were
how I remember the 70s. Well, Dave, I have a story for you, and this is my favorite time of year. It's our first podcast of the year, and every year at this time, the website, what's it called? Defector.com puts out my favorite column of the year.
It's about all the good things that's happened in the country, right, for over the last year, right? Goodwill to men.
Actually, no. It's about the things that got stuck in our rectums over the last year.
I smell parody song.
They have gone and taken reports from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's database of emergency room visits, and they compile it every year. And boy, as they say here in the article, all descriptions are verbatim, and all entries below involve some very poor decisions. And I'm going to give you 3 body parts that things are shoved into this year.
All right.
Because I think this is a new category, and it's kind of a distressing one, and that is the penis category. Things stuck inside
the penis.
Inside the penis. Okay. All right.
Now, as you know, I've had kidney stones.
Yeah.
Right. It's not pleasant to have things go, and that was going out. Actually, I can't even imagine going in.
Well, here's some that you can imagine.
Okay.
AirPod, pen cap, pen, coffee stirrer, screw, paperclip, wax straw, 4-inch metal tube. Here, this is a description from the website. Took a piece of plastic-coated paper from a milk container, rolled it tightly, wrapped it with tape to the size greater than a crayon, and inserted it as far as I could into my penis. Handle of a plastic spoon, plastic fork, glue, rolled up magazine page, ring from Powerade bottle, domino.
Wait, what was the last? A ring from
the ring from the rings when you open the Powerade bottles.
Oh, and the little plastic thing.
Yeah, the little plastic thing. Domino. That's a good thing about that. I hope it was a small domino. A phone charging cable and a thermometer. Now, a thermometer, that's not how you're supposed to take the temperature, but hey, whatever. Now, to show that this isn't just about men.
Sure.
This year, they've also got a list of vagina insertions.
Okay.
All right. Things that got stuck inside there. Plastic cube. Plastic triceratops. Bobby pin.
Wait. What?
Triceratops.
So if it's a stegosaurus, it wouldn't be not as funny.
Right. Triceratops.
That's funny.
They've got the humps and everything.
Yeah, that's funny.
Bobby pin, shot glass.
Wait, is Bobby Pin a name of somebody?
Could be.
Okay.
Statue, toy fire truck, egg, spork, bar of soap, deodorant, perfume bottle, pencil, 2 pencils, pencil sideways, curling iron, dry erase marker, spoon, knife, bag of soil, keys, candle, climbing peg, finger puppet, and microchip.
Wow, nice.
And then here's my favorite, was roughhousing with her husband who lifted her up and accidentally dropped her on a hot dog cooker.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that happening?
They always say that.
Yeah, right. Accidentally. I tripped and fell and had this triceratops.
And now it's time for classic up the, and that's
the rectum.
Rectum. Hardly.
That's old school.
Yeah, this is old school. A xylophone mallet, foam ball, 12-inch ratchet extender. Oh boy. Cylindrical wooden block. Cooking spray. Shampoo bottle. Lotion bottle. Can of deodorant. Plastic bottle.
What's the deal with deodorant?
I don't know. I guess I want it to smell better. Plastic bottle with the bottom cut off.
What?
I don't even. Broomstick. 18-inch dildo. 18-inch.
Wow.
A dildo from 4 days ago. 3 AAA batteries.
What is dildo from 4 days ago?
Meaning it had been in there for 4 days. I keep waiting for it to come out. 2 AA batteries, 1 D battery, a 50-cent piece, scrub brush, wire hanger, enema bottle, 2 plastic bottles, and a shot glass. That sounds like a fun night.
That's a country song, I think.
A tail of a toy dinosaur. Doesn't say what kind.
Okay, what is the deal with the...
That could have been a T-Rex. A baby shark toy cigarette lighter.
Oof.
Trying to light the poofters.
I
could be. Toothbrush holder, light bulb, broken light bulb, bottle of GHB. I don't even know what that is. board game piece, metal toilet paper holder. There's a lot of these. Marbles, darts, plastic lemon, fake banana, and Jello mold.
Jello, like the big Jello mold. That's like the big, like the bundt cake mold.
And then there's a picture here of a X-ray, and it's clearly a candy cane, a full candy cane, like
Well,
a
it's for
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
Tis the season. Oh.
Well, God willing, we'll be here next year with a new, which will
Something
be
to
the
look
exact same list.
I don't
probably.
think so. I don't think we're going to see 18-inch dildo next year.
Well, I want to know what the deal is. If anybody has done this, what's the deal with the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
I mean, this is equal opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Both men and women. Hey, we got a review.
Oh, okay.
Found the show when I was searching for a good documentary podcast.
Uh-oh.
Not sure why this one showed up. Glad it did. Love the quirky and irreverent banter. And that's from Cliff on Potable.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's time for another feature, and we've kind of already given you one, but this is going to be this week's bonus, Studio Walls.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Weekend please.
This is kind of a big week in history, Dave. This week in 1863, the London Underground opened. Did you know that it had been around that long? The subway?
1863.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's pretty impressive. Yeah. Well, if you've ever been to London, there's a woman who does the voices. Well, you know what? Let's just play it because we tracked her down, and her name is Emma Clark, and she'll explain all of it. Any of our listeners have been to London? If you take the Underground, you will constantly hear a very pleasant lady's voice saying these words.
Mind the gap. Right?
In other words, don't fall in that hole between the door and the platform. And we're very lucky to have that pleasant lady, Emma Clark, on the show with us today. You may be surprised to hear that she doesn't ride the Underground herself, however. And there's a very good reason for that, isn't there?
There certainly is. Well, I mean, to be fair, I do use it, but I hate the sound of my own voice, Dave.
Yeah,
I hate it. And to be honest, the thought of being in a metal box trapped with people who have got no option but to listen to my voice fills me with horror.
But also, don't you live in Manchester?
I do. I lived 200 miles away from London. So, and I work from home. I very rarely leave the house. It's like being under house arrest.
Yeah, you know? As do we right now.
I don't get to go to London very often, so I don't get to ride the tube very often.
Right.
But when I did used to live in London, I found myself avoiding the tube or taking the bus or walking or getting a cab or even avoiding the lines that I was on because it's just, I can't tell you, it's such a discombobulating experience hearing your own voice come through the speakers.
I bet it is.
You know, we've heard and we've done a little bit of research on, it was a very elaborate process becoming the, you know, this is a big gig.
Took ages.
Yeah, how did
ages and ages. A production company that I work with often asked me if I'd be interested in trying out for this job, and I was like, yeah, of course I would. So I did some samples for them, and the Transport for London company had asked for 6 women and 6 men to try out for this. I thought, there's no chance in hell I'm going to get this. Mm-hmm. Just not going to happen. So I did the samples and then just forgot about it. Just thought, move on. If it happens, it happens. So 18 months go by, right?
Oh, my God.
18 months. In that time, empires have risen and fallen. You know,
Mount Rushmore was built. You know, they built that fancy Westminster Abbey in that time.
Yeah. And then I got this call to say that I'd got the gig. And they'd put these samples out to market research for actual commuters to listen to tell Transport for London which voice they wanted to hear every day on the tube. And my voice won.
Oh, that's
amazingly. But what I think they did, right, they later told me that they codenamed each voice so that the people on these focus groups could identify each voice. And they codenamed my voice Marilyn, right? And I often wonder, you know, if they called me Brenda, if they'd called me Gertrude.
Hazel, you wouldn't have made it with Hazel.
Hildegard.
Would I have got the gig? Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Do you ever get recognized by your voice? You ever like walk around and you're in a store?
You know, I can't tell you. It's very, very tempting to stand behind somebody on the tube and just apropos of nothing, just say, The next station is Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah.
There she is. Emma Clark.
Yeah.
She was fun.
I saw a movie not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, a year or two. Do you remember the movie, or do you know the movie? I think Chris Pratt was in it and somebody else. They were in a spaceship, and it was like they were asleep for hundreds of years or whatever it is.
That's vague memory.
And Emma Clark is the ship.
Oh, okay.
She's the voice of the ship.
Okay.
And in the credits of the movie, she's right there, because she was arguably the biggest character, actually, in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
yeah, she's very nice. Hey, I got one more story here. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
This is from the BBC.
Okay.
How apropos is that? College helps student with phone call phobia. Nottingham College is running coaching sessions.
Before you get into this, all three of my sons have a little bit. Actually, two of them have this telephobia thing
that they can't talk on the phone.
Right. It stresses them out,
right,
because they don't really do it ever.
Well, this Nottingham College is running actual workshops and coaching sessions. I don't think it's a class on phone confidence and etiquette to support them in overcoming kids 18 to 34. 18 to 34. 34 is not really a kid, but that there's this real thing. It's called telephobia.
Yeah,
that they just can't talk on the phone. A Uswitch survey of 2,000 people between the ages of 18 and 34 found nearly 90% prefer a text to a phone call.
Yeah.
And 73% say that they never pick up calls because more than half of them assume that an out-of-the-blue phone call means something really bad happened. Like
they're just like
grandma's dead. Yeah, it's like me. That's why I just don't. For example, Naya, 16, said she dreads phone calls, as she always uses her body language to talk, so I can't convey what I'm trying to say over the phone. No, I don't know how that works with text.
Okay,
yeah, right. Exactly. I don't know that.
Right, you're not even using full words.
Angus, 19, if someone my age calls, I immediately think they either need money or dying. It's okay when old people call because they can't figure out how to text.
Wow.
I think Angus just blew one out on us.
Yeah, zinger.
So Baxter runs these workshops, and one of the things that they have them do is call restaurants to ask what time they open. That is the low bar that they are starting.
You're joking here, but I'm telling you,
they can't do it.
Yeah,
they are incapable of. Yeah. Well, do you know that there's etiquette? We've talked about this before. Text etiquette, right?
Right.
You can't use punctuation in texts.
Yeah, well, screw them.
I had a student, it was last semester, asking me for an extension on a project or whatever. And I'm a marshmallow, and I'm like, sure, okay. And I pressed, and I wrote back, okay, but with a period. And then the next class, she goes, are you mad at me? I'm like, why would I be mad at you? She's like, well, the extension. I'm like, no, it's fine. She goes, well, you used a period. And that means like being aggressive.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're texting somebody under the age of 20 or whatever, and you use punctuation, they think you're mad at them.
So, okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they have no respect for grammar.
No. Well, yeah. I'm all for
They may have respect for grandma, but not grammar.
And I'm, as you know, very liberal, very open-minded.
Yeah.
The pronouns, I could care less what you use.
Yep.
The they for one person is bad grammar.
It is.
And I can't get my head around that.
It is.
I'm not being an old person. Well, I am being
I've got no problem with it.
Yeah. God love you, but there's only one of you.
Well, I have a story for you. And you know how much we love rich people.
Oh, God.
And celebrities and stuff. We put them on a pedestal. Would you like to hear a story where it didn't go well for a celebrity?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the stories that I love.
We've all heard that money talks, but sometimes even money and fame, a person can still receive the short end of a stick. Former Real Madrid soccer player Sergio Carrillo and his wife, Real Housewives of Dubai star Caroline Stanbury, went on a lengthy winter vacation. In the midst of their planning, they had their assistant book a flight with the promise they were getting the best seats on the plane.
Okay.
Now, they got seat 1A and 1B.
Sounds great to me.
Best seats on the plane. But a video was released. Actually, they released it themselves. And showed it wasn't exactly the case. What happened at the start of the video, you see that, first of all, they can't lean back. Their seats don't lean back. But, that's happened to me a million times.
I once flew to Japan.
Right. People, the normal people, the salt of the earth people like you and me.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
We understand. Yeah. They were a little upset about it. But then I could see why they were upset when he turned the camera the other direction and showed that seat 1A and 1B were facing the rest of the plane. So everybody in the seats behind them was staring right at them. And they're trying to be
those are
incognito.
Those are the best seats in the house. Everybody gets
they're trying to be incognito, but so these celebrities are sitting there like they're hello, waving to the crowd. I just found that hilarious. Yeah. But that's all. I just wanted to point that out.
Famous people you've flown with.
Well, my old boss, Steve Dahl, used to get upset when there were celebrities.
Because if it would go down, he'd be, and others.
Right. Yeah. Right. I have thought of that, too. Not really anybody I can think of.
The only one, David, I flew from Chicago to Japan with, I can't think of the guy's name. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, wow.
We had no clue. He was, probably in the best seats.
Right.
And it was a huge plane. And when we landed in Tokyo, we were walking through, and there was all these people there. Those pictures of the Beatles?
Yeah.
Right. There was all these, once you get past security, there was all these people. Oh, Leonardo. And he was, and I found out that he was on our plane.
Does that ever happen to you?
No. Well, it's going to
Roger Daltrey. It happens to me.
I was going to say bartender, but I once flew from L.A. to Oxnard, California, with David Lindley. Do you know who David Lindley is?
Yeah,
the musician.
Yeah,
and it was like a 5-seater plane.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on a Buddy Holly special here with a rock star, I figured I would be
good point,
and others. So he was very nice.
Our friend Vinny, his wife, was on a plane with Huey Lewis one time.
Okay.
And he picked his nose on the plane, which is a story I've never forgotten. It's tough to be a celebrity.
Especially flying coach.
Yeah. All right. Hey, it's time for another feature.
Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
So this is the part of the show where we feature some of your emails and letters and texts.
And they're piling up because we took a couple of weeks off.
They are piling up, but I thought you would get a kick out of this one. This is from Eric. Guys, I just want to tell you that I love your show. Mm-hmm. I started listening to it last year after hearing your interview with the Mooch, and it's become a regular thing now. I have a story to contribute to your celebrity stories thing. I was a college baseball player. I played for Bates College. And one of the people I regularly faced was someone you may know. He was a player on our conference rival Wesleyan College in Connecticut. His name was Jeffrey Mayer. Do you remember him? As a 12-year-old, he caught a home run ball in the playoffs between the Yankees and the Orioles, and very briefly became a national celebrity because he technically stole a homer. Right. He turned into a pretty good ball player himself. I think he might have been the MVP of our league, Division III, but still, good ball player. Never talked to him about his infamy, probably because he hit a double off of me. And that's from Eric.
That's great.
So that Eric's younger. We're getting some younger listeners.
Yeah. We got to get Steve Bartman. He won't do it.
Well, I mean, he won't even do...
No, right. He won't do real shows.
Yeah.
He won't do the Today Show.
We have gotten other people, though. Tell them about some of the other people we have.
Well, running right now, Hall of Famer Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah.
Chicago legend, hockey legend.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation with him.
I really recommend people listen to it. There's a great series of stories about being down in the bowels of Chicago Stadium
and Madison Square Garden with
don't spoil it. Go check it out because it's worth it.
And you had the pleasure of interviewing Steve Wilkos, the bodyguard.
Yeah,
right?
Steve Wilkos, who was the bodyguard on the Jerry Springer Show, has his own show now for 18 seasons, and is a total Chicago guy. You'll have to check it out. He was a former Chicago cop. He's a Cubs fan. He went to Lane Tech, Dave, class of 82.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Same time you were there.
Naked swimming. I may have
Well,
seen.
I brought up naked swimming.
You did.
I did.
I
We talked about it.
I haven't listened to the
Naked
interview.
swimming. It's coming up. It'll be on the next episode of Minutia Men Celebrity Interview. Steve Wilkos.
Wow.
Yeah. So Dave's going to listen to this show
Now
for the
with
first
the naked.
time.
Did you mention me in naked swimming at all?
No, you weren't even there. All right, it's time we thank some people.
Yeah.
We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasano. Happy New Year, Tony.
Happy Tony.
Also, thanks to Ed Silla with the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. They just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And are we back now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think we're back
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And we should be back next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Man.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?